The youth delivered the White House for President Trump. And understand that now 6, 7 months later, we've inherited a disordered economy from Joe Biden. If we do not deliver on economic promises, especially for the next generation, if we do not make you owners of this economy, not just renters of this economy, then you're going to see a lot more Zohran Mamdanis.
There you have it, Charlie Kirk and the Mamdani effect. And the guy was, in addition to being brilliant in many ways, he was a pretty good economist. Joining us now, Steve Forbes, Forbes Media Chairman and Editor-in-Chief, and Kellyanne Conway, former counselor to President Trump, Fox News contributor. Steve Forbes, the guy was a pretty good economist.
He was. And the amazing thing is, I had lunch with him when he was 18 years old, Larry, in high school, wrote an essay in where Breitbart ran it, where he talked about reducing taxes. He talked about an essay, a group of essays Krugman had in a textbook he was forced to read as a high school student for economics AP. And he said if anyone else had turned in with the evidence they had in there, they would have gotten an F. So at 18, he was doing sophisticated analysis. We did this with my co-author. We had this lunch with him. And he amazingly did a sophisticated analysis worthy of a 40 or 50-year-old. He did that at age 18. He saw through it and realized very quickly, this guy's got a great future.
And he was a growth guy. He was a housing affordability guy. Housing affordability, Kellyanne, seems to be really at the core of politics today, at least when it comes to younger people.
There are so many great things in Charlie Kirk's legacy, God rest his soul, and I know they'll carry this on in Turning Point, but you're right, part of it is affordability. And Charlie Kirk's message to the youth was not just acquire, amass, achieve, buy stuff. It was build something, be part of something. And he warned Republicans just this summer, instead of sitting on his laurels. That's July 11th. July 26th, he wrote a great op-ed on FoxNews.com talking about how the young people can go back and vote for a Marxist in the future. If we don't make good on these promises, what are they? That you get a piece of the pie, your version of the American dream. But Charlie Kirk went a step further, Larry and Steve. He didn't just say, be a capitalist. He said, be a father, be a husband, be a mother. The number one question I always got when I spoke to the Young Women's Conference was, how do you balance work and family? Can I have it all? And I always say, yes, you can have it all, just not all at the same time. But I appreciate his message of economic growth, of tax reduction. We're told that all young people are liberal, that they care about abortion. He shifts that to affordability. We're told that, and in fact, to the extent that they care about abortion, he lets them be pro-life and be proud about it in the Judeo-Christian values. Also, if you give a young person the choice to hug a tree or hug their wallet, that wallet always wins.
Yes, okay.
But you made that connection. He saw economics wasn't in one silo, spiritual in another silo. He realized they're married together. You don't have one without the other.
Well, I think, though, the particular piece that we ran, he understood ownership, the importance of ownership, okay? Renting is one thing, owning is another. In a sense, you own your own home. Marriage might come more easily. Kids might come more easily. Before you know it, you're embarked on the American dream. If you never get a chance, if you can't afford your own home, then the others, the marriage and the kids and the schooling and the business, doesn't come as easily. It's a different game. And I think that's what he was referring to. And look, there's one reason why I want interest rates to go down. It'll make it a little easier. It's one reason I want to deregulate housing and everything else under the sun. So we'll build more of it, and there'll be more opportunities for the younger generation, the Gen Z generation, to come up the ranks. And ownership's so important.
It's part of how Trump won, of course. You always talked about the investor class.
Yes,
now it's the ownership class. And look, the other thing is, we've asked young people for a long time, would you rather be president of the United States or president of your own business? The presidency of the United States does not win that. Wow. Folks do feel like that's part of being an entrepreneur, doing your own thing is also a part of it. But this being able to afford everyday life, and the statistics show that the average age of first home ownership decades ago was 29, now it's 40. So you show it's out of reach.
Not good. It's not good.
Under President Trump, it's getting better.
He's going to make it better. He's got to make it better. He's got to keep his eye on that. And that's what the late Charlie Kirk was saying. Steve Forbes, I like factories. More importantly, the president loves factories, wants to build lots of factories, wants to create incentives to build factories. But then there's the question of whether the government should be in charge of building factories, as is written up in the Wall Street Journal today. What do you make of that story? Factories, government, private sector entrepreneurs. I mean, I'd be happy if Kellyanne built a factory, but I don't know if I want Uncle Sam to build it and run it and take a piece of it. What you think?
No, nor Comrade Howard Lutnick. Do we want to be a free enterprise economy or a French economy? And that's what you're going to get. So they're right on deregulation, right on reducing taxation and the like. But don't get the government involved. That involves politics. When they bailed out General Motors, guess what happened? Oh, this district needs a dealership. You can't close it. Politics plays a role, which means creativity goes out the window, stagnation comes in, get the opposite of what they want. Trust the private sector is what I'd say to Mr. Lutnick and others. Let them provide the means in terms of lower taxation, remove the barriers, and by golly, American ingenuity will build the factories that we can't even imagine today with creativity.
That's the thing, and governments don't know. They don't take risks. They see something today and they do it. No one knows what's going to be down the road, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. As Steve said, entrepreneurs have the foresight that governments never do, and entrepreneurs have the wherewithal, the cleverness to get it done. Governments don't have. I mean, what happens when the liberals take over again? And you've got a government investment fund of $500–600 billion or $1 trillion. They'll start parceling out to windmills, just like they tried to do during the Biden administration, right?
It's
and
a real
we're rolling
concern.
all that back.
It's a real concern.
I'm for
share.
factories.
But the only thing I'll say is that
And
President Trump and his team, they are people in a hurry because he knows he has less than 4 years to go, and they're raising so much revenue through these tariffs. And they also, through funds like the Japanese fund, and the idea of investing in fisheries or shipping or factory production is very appealing. But we do have to be careful about taking too much of a stake.
And remember, someday the bad guys will take over.
That's right.
You don't want to set the bad
And they'll
precedent.
take over the whole factory, not just 15 or 20% of it. I mean, we should go slowly on this. Would you agree, Kellyanne?
Yes, I like the
slow.
fact that Secretary Bassett, when asked after the Intel 10% deal was announced, he was asked point blank, are you going to do this in NVIDIA? He said NVIDIA doesn't need the cash.
Right.
Intel seems like it was special and a one-off, so I hope so.
Yes, we have a sovereign wealth fund in this country. It's called private free market investment.
It's how Donald Trump amassed his fortune.
Indeed, right. Hold that thought. Kellyanne, Conway, and Steve Forbes. By the way, I was going to promote your book and your TV show. They won't give me.
I'll be on the 5 in 10 minutes.
All right, go watch her on the